Okay, well, what to expect? Essentially, I'm going to be sharing my story on how consistency has actually helped me to be, by the grace of God, where I am today.
These are high profile people seated here, which I tell you, for free. Getting them here, it's not easy. It took a lot of follow up, it took a lot of calls, a lot of mails to be sent, and they've seen it beautiful to be here. And I want you all to believe that they are willing to mentor as much as we that would approach them, and we look up to them. So I wouldn't know if there are any questions, but I'll keep the ball rolling. Yes, there's a standing question. Please kindly signify so that I pick it up and make sure we're all organized. There's one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please take your number in that order. So I asked this question to anyone who wants to answer. We hear all this talk every day. It looks like a motivational speech. It looks like a inspiring speech. And I wonder, how do we bring all of these things to practical execution? Practical implementation. Oh, okay, Dr. Badari said, it was once an houseboy. Baba they drive range. How possible is that? Okay, he also went far as saying that if any one of us wants to dare him, and a couple of times he has been dared, that let's go to Idumota there. He's going to pick points. Some of them, way back as 20, 25 years ago, are still there. And he has been able to find himself out. Now, that being said again, I'm also a career person. I'm an account person now. And sometimes I look at myself from 9 to 5 jobs does not really suit me, because I feel like I'm tight in one corner. I want to really explore what the talents I have. And it becomes a thing of, okay, and that's what puts the food on my table. Yes, I do other weekend rounds and all that. Then I begin to wonder that, okay, if I'm so tight with work, building someone's career or someone's business and all that, and I don't want to cheat the person. I want to be professional in my life. How do I tend to build up my own? Yes, I said, now there's a new trend, we call it side hustle. But how do we stay consistent and see that you were able to break through because you run your own business? But in the case whereby we have our own career and we also have our own individual goal, how do we align it and bring all of these things to limelight? Thank you.
So there's always a challenge, I can see when Mr. Fred too, he was trying to rush his presentation because everything is time bound. So now, but the question is very clear and very, but I'm trying to answer in the best possible way, because I tell people, which is actually why I avoided the, bringing up slides and everything, talking about Elon Musk and all of those. No. Let's talk about the Nigerian story. And believe me sincerely, there's so many people like me, everybody that has actually breakthrough. But the question is this: in my life, what has worked for me practically? So it's not just about because I run my business. Because believe me sincerely, there's so many people that we started business together that today it's not a good story to tell. Right. So what I'm speaking to is actually whether you're in career or you want to run your business. So what I normally do is I always have 3 circles per time. And this circle, so if I'm in your shoe, maybe the first circle is what? I call it operational goal, operational, tactical, and strategic. So now, and I love what you said about what you're currently doing now in your career is putting food on your table. Believe me sincerely, it's very important. Highly important, because you need to be able to feed yourself. You need to be able to make sure that you can even, because if you are not mentally okay, there is no way you can even have any vision. That's the honest truth. But here is the challenge. The challenge is your ability to say, okay, this is what I'm currently doing right now that is putting food on my table. In the tactical circle, where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Let me not say one. One is too short. Let's even say in the next 2 to 3 years. That's tactical. Where do you see yourself? What picture? Just like the picture that Mr. Fred, people will see different things. But the owner is seeing a beautiful place where people will come and believe me, if you go to Disney, if you don't book sometimes ahead, you won't see ticket to be honest with you. So now, where do you see yourself? And then, of course, the next circle is 5 years. Let me tell you, connecting the dot practically. The challenge here is every one of us, including myself, that's why I use the word, we get stuck in our operational goals. I can eat, I can pay my bills. Even if God not help you, you have a car. Then you are on top of the roof, and all of that. But the question is this: where do you see yourself? Because that is going to help you not to be satisfied with the small. So if I'm not in your shoe, the big person saying you are in career, then do you have a projection to run your business? If you have a projection to run your business, the question is, okay, you're an accountant. That means you want to be rendering. I don't know, I'm just saying, ordinarily we would expect maybe that person wants to be a chartered accountant, I want to be. Then have you now sat yourself down to ask yourself, where are the best accounting firms? Today, we talk about Akintola Williams, we talk about all of these things. Do you know the profile of those kind of people? And the question is, do you have that profile so that people will come and do business with you? So those are the questions I asked myself. When I started Digital and Code, we struggled, let me be honest with you, for the first 10 years. So don't forget what everybody is saying now. For the first 10 years, in fact, what am I saying? Let's say 12 years. You understand? But we can only eat. But if I was satisfied with it, that was actually why I keep going when I have small money. In fact, at the time, because of the focus, there's no time. I'm trying to bring, and because you lose all the real story. When I was doing the certification, I got married. And in fact, my first license penetration test exam that I did, I traveled out for the first time in 2008. When I got married in 2007, we didn't have chair. I didn't have chair, my wife was pregnant, and I had money at that time. But all that money, I saved everything, and I told my pregnant wife that I'm going to India to go and do this course. In fact, my first daughter, they gave birth to her when, in fact, the naming ceremony, the chair was coming 2 days. It was even not my money because my wife was me. My own is shameless. I know they care. So people come to my house, I'll give them. You understand? I've already even named my daughter. So if you want to come, come. Because my wife doesn't have, people will come to her. So where am I going? But some of us, because of what people will say, that money, you go and buy a car. I didn't have a car. But the certification was more important to me. Because it was an investment into my future. And guess what? It was one of the best investments that I did. That money, how much was it that time? It was 700,000. Nigeria has not come this. That time, 700,000, I was able to pay for $2,000. Because the Naira conversion was 700,000. I paid for everything, but guess what? As I landed in Nigeria, few months down the line, I got a first contract that I made over 3 million naira. But the question is, if there is no vision, if I am eating that money, I will board. Some of the young people will board out. Now, Benz, go and buy Benz. The Benz that after 2 weeks, you're going to push the Benz because maybe, you understand? You know that Benz, because that's what will be in your brain. See, that's why I can go on and on. My point is this. But my own was different. It was different, and that's why, and as I was making that money too, I was setting aside because consistency now, doing the right thing, because I'm like, wow, this knowledge really helped me. So what do I do so far? As I was making money, the more money I make, the more money I set aside for what? For personal development. Yes, and that's why from 2, 3, 4, 5, and before you know what is happening, everybody started to do business with an organization because we now have the knowledge, we have the right attitude, we have the practical skill, and then it was forming our habits, and that's it. So.
Well, let me say little. You're working 9 to 5, and you have a vision to set up your business, and you also need to talk about the issue of integrity, so that as much as possible you will not crush into the work where you are. You also keep yourself. Yes, I was a worker. I work with CTS very much there. I was a banker. Got to a level, I got a job with esteemed people there, to the people who my own car. Why the new car should be given to my subordinate? I was not moved, but I was not happy. I was the one bringing up this business. This guy was sitting in the office doing nothing. But because I was just lost, I was lost doing the work, and I didn't really bother myself. Remember then there is no place we couldn't go. North, Meduguri, I was in Meduguri. University of May, I got the mandate the same day. From University of May, University of Meduguri, I moved to, what they call it, Yobe State recently. I moved to Bauchi, from there to Kano. I moved to anywhere, back to Uguru, from Kigwe, Uguru to Abia, just moved to Porako, to Onsuka. I just moved around. It was when I was going, this is one of my own cards. God told me, my own is God factor. God said it is time for you to move out. It was not convenient. I was on the Tom Mainland Bridge. I too just had my twins, the last born. How can I resign when I just have twins? I've not been able to pay the hospital bill. How will I do every ceremony? How will I take care of this gift? And God told me to go ahead. Then I got an offer from then Oshani Bank. Oshani Bank said I should come and work. I got there. They asked me for what do I want. I told them I don't care about the position. This is the amount I want you to pay me. It's not you pay me this amount of money or not. They said, but this money is what our guys are. I said, I don't care. I don't care about position. Just give me this money. If you pay me this amount of money, then I'll work for you. If you don't pay me this amount of money, then it's not nothing. But at the end of the whole day, I just found that I was not convenient working for anybody. It was in the same day on this terminal bridge, God told me to hands off. It does not make sense. It doesn't make sense to anybody. But there are some things you don't talk in the public world. God doesn't make sense. But I obeyed. When I got to the office, I gave them a letter of resignation. Everybody thought I was mad. Even myself, I thought I was mad. But I did. That was the best decision I ever took in my life. And it was from there I started up my own company. Thank God for the good work that I've been doing. I've been so much consistent with my relationship. Relationship is so key to me. I don't deal with my customers anyhow. All my clients, I'm over there. I don't just do business because I want to make money. I build relationship. Most of those people I work with, I build relationship with them to the core. That they want to think of anything. Once they think of anything, IT, they think about me. When I was working as a banker, I set system to all my colleagues. I make sure I give them good system. You don't pay me at once. You pay me instrumentally. But when I give you the first one, you have to give me your payment. You divide it to 3. I take part of the money. And I will go to Otiba, I have clients that I buy from. I was also committed to them. I don't default to them. I don't lie to them. My integrity was intact. Therefore, those people, because of the relationship I built with them, even while I was not working, anywhere they travel to, they still remember. If they want to buy anything, even till today, if anybody want to buy system, I've left work now, this is 2000, that's 23 years ago. They still call me. And then that relationship was what that kept me going. Of all those guys, when I now left, when I resigned from my former place, those people I've been able to build relationship with, they were the one calling me. They were the one giving me offer, they were the one giving me job. And by the grace of God, I obeyed. At least the first transaction I did was enough to pay what I've had for the past 20 years. I got it within just 1 month. Wow. Therefore, everything is about building relationship, consistent in building relationship. That's
quite amazing. Because let's give room for others to ask questions. So, madam, if you can just speak it in 30 seconds.
Okay. 30 seconds, I'll try. So I believe everyone is not destined to be a business owner. However, we all have important role to play in any field or area we find ourselves. If you're an employee and you're doing your work diligently, you work with little or no supervision, you try to carry out your work competently, you will shine and you excel in that area. So, but if you feel that you have more calling to start your business, you must have to have a business plan. You have to have a bankable business plan. So to build a business, formidable business, you must check your unique selling proposition. You watch yourself and check your weaknesses and your strengths. In determining your weaknesses, that will help you to know if you can be a business owner, because being a business owner is bringing in the jobs. If you stay 1 year and you've not brought in the jobs, you will not be successful. And some people do not have the capacity to bring in jobs. So that's my point is, we all have our calling, we have to identify it so we can shine.
Thank you. My name is Roland. Answer, Mr. Obadari, my question is to you, sir. At what point did you decide to venture into cybersecurity? And what prompted you at that time to be able to think in that direction? Because if you don't have knowledge about something, at least like it is not so common as at the time you are talking about it. So what prompted you to think in that direction as you're going into in that direction? That's my question, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Actually, I'm pleased to be here today. And the question, though you've answered it, but I would like to say it again. It's about challenges that we face. Because I have a mentor who always says that consistency is one of the difficult things to do in life. Because being consistent, it goes a long way. And if you want to be consistent, not in a business aspect alone, in the world itself, as a career person or dealing with your business, you have to be consistent. And the question I want to ask, though you've answered it, is that how do we face those challenges that obstruct us from being consistent? How do we face those challenges?
I run a tech company here in the US. So my question goes to the three of you. To the lawyer lady, have you ever done a patent for someone? So what's the process and like how long does it take? Then cybersecurity guy, I wanted to know how do you combine growing your company with getting all the certifications? Because I'm sure that was a challenge. And to the tech guy, what kind of opportunities are you looking to key into? You said you're looking for opportunities to key into. What kind of opportunities do you have?
My name is Ademola Adetola. I work as an auditor with the Lagos State House of Assembly. My question is, I think it will be for both of you, probably anybody wants to answer. These are generation. I don't know how we're going to qualify our generation. I do say that some of the mistakes that were made probably in the 90s or in the millennium, right? Those mistakes, or perhaps some of the steps that were taken that we could correct them, we can't afford to make it in this generation again. Because the world has moved a little bit further. Things are more difficult. And I do tell people around me, the way we see things now, the Shege is just a little. The Shege Pro Max is coming. And it will take us to be consistent in whatever we are doing, for us to think anew. I remember when I was in Ghana, I had my first degree in Ghana actually. I think African Studies lecturer told us about after the Second World War in the United Nations during the Berlin Conference. Otto von Bismarck also, thereabout. When he would give his first speech, the first thing he said was that we, the United Nations, we are here to save the succeeding generation against the scourge of war that have taken blah 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 blah, which means that they were thinking about the next generation. And here, in this part of Africa, especially Nigeria, we're always talking about the present. So you are futuristic, You saw the goal, you saw the vision. You did not think about what is going to happen presently. You think about how you are going to help yourself and the future generation by virtue of the steps you are going to take. So, do you think we live in with that kind of mindset in our generation? And how do you think we can bridge the gap? Now, finally, let me just give this practical example, right, to hit the answer that all of you would give, right? The fact is that we are looking at, I do tell some people that I'm close with that in this our country, Nigeria, we subsidize almost everything. Health, education, fuel, actually. And now, we don't know that this would have very harmful effects to the future generation to come, right? Because when the government starts, helping us to, for instance, when I was in Ghana, I went to private school actually, and affiliated to the University of Cape Coast. My investor, I'm sure that I finished everything with about 2 million naira thereabout. An average Nigerian student will finish university with 100,000 naira. The government has to cater for their education. But yet I must testify that Nigerian students have to be the best, when it comes to service delivery and being able to convert knowledge into practice, right? Because when I was in Lagos 2015, I had Pan-African Debate Championship, and we have several African countries that joined in. Eventually, they proved themselves, right? So what I'm saying basically is that, do we think that the way the government is running things, the way we want it to be run, actually, we are lazy-minded now as young people. We don't want to do anything serious. We want everything to be put on our table, and this would definitely harm us in the future. What do you think we can do differently, and how do you think young people can be able to annex whatever this generation speaks of, to be able to, plan for the next generation to come, and even ourselves?
It's a bit difficult, but I'll see our best way to not be a motivational speaker. Okay, so how do I know? To be honest with you, my story is very similar to Mr. Fred. I actually started coupling computer system. Yeah, I will go to same with Tiba was saying, which is computer village. That was how digital encode started. I built system, I assembled system. In fact, that time, the systems that were coming to Nigeria were compact, Dell, all those kind of, but I would go to the Tiba because I will buy my own motherboard, I'll buy the casing, I will buy everything. And guess what? I will couple it, and when I go to the market, that time, because of the spirit of excellence, and that was why when I started, I was talking about making, consistency. You have to be careful. And doing the right thing. That time too, because I wanted to do the right thing every time, he spoke about integrity. These are things, values that will help you in life. That time there were options of buying board for AMD, Celeron board for some of you that you know about system. They are good motherboards, but they are not the best. But they are in the market. But guess what? I never bought Celeron in my life. I never bought AMD. I'm always buying Intel Pentium processors. So when I sell systems to people, believe me sincerely, they come back to me. But guess what? And I was making money. In fact, at that time, in one system, I could make 100,000 naira per system. But all of a sudden, of course, that wave that was waving me, he waved to Mr. Fred. You can imagine, waved to everybody, and everybody started to couple systems. From making 100,000 naira per system, believe me, it turned to 8,000, 10,000. But don't forget where I started from. One great gift God has given you and me. That's why when you meet God today, that you cannot blame anybody is God has given us this brain. But do you know why? There are so many noises in our head. Because your ability to put up your phone, in fact, and say and think, if you leave this place today, ask yourself questions. So, I sat myself down. Now what? From 100,000 to 10,000. So that means before, if I sell 10 systems, I'm going to make 1 million. So for me to make 1 million, I need to work very hard and sell 100 systems. I knew poverty was knocking at my door. You understand? And the next question was, so in life, God helping you. That's why, let me tell you why it was because I was rushing time. Let me tell you why I gave them the $100. Pay attention to what is happening around you. The question I asked them, because I wanted to talk about knowledge, it's not related to consistency, but there are a lot of things happening around us. In English, they call it value chain. Value chain. Look at the value chain. And that was what I did. I just looked at the value chain that, oh boy, what is the next thing in computer? Because if Igbo guys, everybody is now doing and I'm making 10,000, oh boy, that's the number that I want to live my life. And the next value chain that time was internet-working. It was not even cyber security. It was internet-working. Oh, and now finding out, oh, not many people can couple systems, but not all of them can network it. That was how I sat myself down, I started learning networking. In fact, I was one of those people in this country that when you join, we do printer sharing, all the cyber cafes. I started making money again. I've left the 10,000 for them. I started making, develop capacity in that area. But guess what? Everybody could now, visa, there was everywhere, yafu. I sat down again, I look at the value chain, and then okay, that was when, of course, there's always God factor, let me be honest with you. So then, but sitting down to say, okay, wow, security. And that was, I saw security in 2005. And I'm like, wow, okay, so this is the next. So as people are building infrastructure, I accidentally, it wasn't because God told me, I said, Wale, you don't have, some people will be like, so that's why we have to be careful. They will be like Mr. Fred. And I like what you said too, that not all of us. So know how God deals with you. Some people God will tell them, oh, Samson, stop what you are doing now. But I want to hear the truth. I am not, some of us, 80, you want me to tell you the truth, when I find out, 90% God is talking to you in your brain. Sit down and think. So, and that's what has always worked for me. I think through the value chain. And I saw, wow, cybersecurity, and I started to develop capacity. But the rule of thumb is this. There's so many people doing cybersecurity that they didn't blow, even up to now. I always make sure in everything, just that same spirit of excellence in when I was selling computer, to make sure that I will never sell around, never. I will never let them sell AMD. People can sell it. So it was the same thing to say in cybersecurity, I want to be the baddest. Just that the video too want to be the baddest in safety. I want to be the baddest means I want to be the best of the best. When you just because there is no time, we have to be careful even this entrepreneurship. I know people in career that are doing very well. I have a friend, she developed herself excellently well. Guess what? The first house she bought, she didn't pay for it. She got a job with the bank. The bank paid for the house. So there's a way you can use that spirit of excellence. They bought the house. In fact, right now, they promoted her again now. They gave her Prado, the brand new cars. And she's not working. I've seen people that in their career, that profit sharing alone, they get 400 million. This is not corruption money. But because of spirit of excellence. So it is the same principle, whether you're in a career, so that you don't live here and be thinking until you be a businessman. There are people, you know what 500 million is as profit sharing when they are boarding you as a staff. You understand? It is the knowledge. That's why I said enablers for what? For consistency. I hope there's so many things I can say, but there's no time. But the truth is this. That's what some people that have worked with digital and go building knowledge too, they get jobs abroad. Knowledge is very important. And you must, So, and the question from the lady at the back, from my own perspective, let me tell you one truth that nobody will tell you. There is no new generational truth. There is no need to what the handsome man with. There is no new generational truth. Don't let anybody deceive you. Truth is truth. Whether you are Gen Z, you are millennial, you are whatever it is. Hard work is hard work. Whether they try to tell you it's smart work, whatever name they call it, you have to work hard. You understand? Whether they, anyhow. Discipline has been from when God has created this world. The only way you can do something well consistently is what? Discipline. And it has been. It's only discipline that took Joseph while he was. Do you know what it is? How many of you have heard the story of Joseph? You are in somebody's house, and your guy is giving you a hand. Do you know what it means? That means that's free sex, free food, free massage, but you still said no. It's the same thing. Do you know when they are reading the Bible? So for you too, it takes discipline because you will not be motivated. All these things that we're saying today, you want me to tell you the truth. After today, people will leave. Some people, by the time they get to the gate, they are forgotten. You understand? By the time you watch Kiki, Mr. Macaroni, Kaoma, all of them, you are forgotten. You understand? But it will take discipline that will take you to go back home and tell yourself that, wow, in the next 5 years of my life, in the next 10 years of my life, in the next 15 years of my life, when I was 25, want to hear the truth, that 25, I just cut all the long. I told myself that I don't want to be a fool at 40. Yes. I pictured 15 years, I was 25. I was crying, it wasn't easy. I was in fasting and prayer. I just don't want to be sounding too spiritual here. I was crying, so forget that God. Because I was like, in the next 15 years, I'll be 40. God, I don't want to be full at 40. Do you understand? And the same thing too. It's the same principle. And now, I'm close to 50. I'll be 50 in some very few months. And then I'm always thinking, by 70, yes, thank God for good life. You think you'll be jumping up and down. So that's why when people are asking me, why are you still going to school? Yeah, I'm going to school because so that see, it is about you. And guess what? Poverty is hard work. Poverty is hard work. Oh. So whether you want to run away, you better, and success is hard work. Choose your hard work. Because to be chasing people to say urgent 2K, urgent 3K, and when you are coming again, they block your number. And you understand? It happened to me. They will block your number. There was one time, one of my uncle in 2003, I wanted to write one exam. I told him to give me the money. How much? It was 100,000 naira. He was buying a car that day. He was buying a car of 1.6 million. I was not in the budget. God bless you. You want to hear the truth? I followed him to the bank. He paid for his car. I only need 100,000 in the year 2005. He looked at me and said, "You have paid for 1.6 million. No, I just need 100,000." And he said, "Oga, what happens if you now fail this exam?" I said, that was what he said. Now what happened? And he did not give me that money. That was the day my brain changed. That was, boy, forget it. So poverty is hard work. And I started to say, I would rather do the hard work of success and become successful. So choose your hard work. So my sister is discipline. Tell yourself, discipline yourself because you won't be motivated. Believe me sincerely, and what can we do? The question he asked, I think the question came in different ways. See, let's not put government to it. There is no point. See, there in Nigeria, whatever it is, whether it's subsidy or no subsidy, the truth of the matter is, all these things I was saying, Nigeria is a peculiar case. If there's no corruption, Nigeria won't be like this. So we're not saying, so when you're comparing Nigeria, that's why knowledge is very important. Don't speak, I just don't like to talk about Nigeria. Because if you want to compare Nigeria to other nations, you compare Nigeria to other oil producing countries, like Saudi Arabia, that's the way we should be. So you understand? So of course our government has to subsidize something because they are making money. So let's not go there. But because we cannot finish that conversation and it will lead to argument. But what we need to talk about is how do we change our lives? Because in this age, let me not lie to you, yes, I heard what you're saying, as not everybody will see Shege Pro Max, so let me just tell you the truth. Not everybody, some people are here, they have Jackman mentality, they are living in Nigeria. Young people, not all young people, they are not here, they are making money in dollars. What are you talking about? Why? Knowledge. Seek knowledge. What do you want to do? Leave this place. Don't deceive yourself. Whatever you want to choose, make sure, don't deceive yourself. And I don't know. If you hear, that's why all of them are doing skits. But let me not lie to you. The challenge now is, if you know that there is nothing skitty in you, don't do skits. Not because you understand. There are other things. But if you hear what those guys are making, you will be sure. All those guys building content. But guess what? Some now have chosen to build technology content. Not just to be showing woman yash and all of that. Some people, they are doing it and they are making money. But some people too, they have discovered that, wow, I cannot do that. They are building technology content. And they are paying them. Do you know what it is if you are making money on YouTube for $1,000, they credit you $1,000, $2,000. $1,000 in Nigeria today is now 100,000 naira. Right. Yes, cash. And it's credit. So think of what you can do. What knowledge. And guess what? And it's not just, if you cannot build content. I have several examples. I know one lady, all she does is she'll go to farm and package cow meat, bush meat, and send it away abroad. She has learned how to ship abroad, and they pay her in dollars. You know, some people are doing wonderful things, and let me not lie to you. They live in Nigeria, but they have learned to be a global citizen, and that is what you need. Ask yourself, what do you want to do? What skills, whatever you are doing right now, how do you be competent? Because not everybody will see the Shege Pro Max. Some people will see the Shege Pro Max because they have faced, they have chosen. Yes. Thank you, sir. Because of, you know, so whatever we're doing, build capacity. That was the last word of Mr. Fred, and it resonated with me. Build capacity for it. Be the best. That's my message. Don't be comfortable with average. If you are comfortable with average, then when you are now seeing Shege Pro Max, then don't complain. It is your choice. Because see, I'd rather sit down and if you come to my library, I have over 2,000 books. It's normal. If you challenge me, I'll take you to my house, come and see it. But I would rather have that Shege Pro Max. Shege Pro Max. Shege Pro Max and read. And have knowledge that I will commercialize and make money. That means to now be chasing people for urgent 2K. That is my...
I hope we're having a good time, first of all. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Yeah. Alright, so I quickly want to add that 3 things. First is that, yes, not everybody is called out for their entrepreneurship journey. But even as a 9-to-5er, even as a career person, you can create a business from your career. Now, let me explain. As a banker, as an architect, a lawyer, why are they paying you? For your knowledge, for your skills, for your expertise. Now, you can create a business from that. The knowledge industry is one of the fastest thriving industries now in Nigeria. And guess what? Your target audience does not need to be just Nigerians. Your target audience can cut across Africa, Europe, you know. All you need is all we need is your knowledge. A lot of people have problems that are yet to be solved. I have questions. I need answers. Concerning law, somebody asked about CAC and registration. These are questions that I have, and I don't want to put a lawyer on retainership because I might not be able to afford it. So I need knowledge. Google's knowledge is generic. I need one that focuses on my own personal problem. So guess what? I will look for somebody that offers that knowledge. So you can be a lawyer in a 9-to-5. You can be a 9-to-5 lawyer, but you can monetize your knowledge and you can make money and you can charge in dollars. So while you are earning your while you are doing your 9-to-5 job, your side hustle. Now you are not even an entrepreneur. You are still in your 9-to-5, but you have your side hustle where you are selling your knowledge. People want knowledge, so that's one. 2, I'm going to say that he asked about new generation. So I'm also part of this new generation. I'm not a Gen Z, I'm a millennial, but somehow I'm part of this generation. So I'm going to say that a lot of us, I don't know if it's pride, maybe it comes with the age bracket, we run from serving. So on Twitter, you see somebody posts, they'll say somebody like Diane Boye said, Peter Obi, maybe talks about, he says something that you don't agree with. Then our generation comes to begin to insult a man that when you see physically, you will kneel down. But online, you think you are all that. So our generation, we need to sit down first and respect people that have done better than us and that are ahead of us. Until you respect people that have done better than you, it's a principle. The Bible talks about sowing and reaping. What you sow, you will reap. What you sow, you would reap. Your boss at work, when your boss gives you something to do, when your boss leaves, you and your colleague will sit down and insult your boss. Who is he and who is she and all that. And one day you want to be a boss. Really. So at times, our generation, we still have a lot of work to do on our morals. Learn to serve. Learn to undergo mentorship. It doesn't take anything away from you. So that's number 2. Be a mentee. Serve. Offer free services at times. You learn that way. No matter how much everyone here talks to you for 5 hours, it cannot be like when you work with them for 5 days in a week. What you will learn in that period, you cannot learn no matter how much. In fact, even if you read their books, there are still some knowledge that you will not get until you work until you serve, until you volunteer. So let's learn to put down our shoulder pads. I'm talking to all of us now, Gen Zs and millennials. Let's learn to mind what we say. And don't forget that the internet does not forget. The internet does not forget. Because of the kind of job I do, when I want to do online reputation for a client, I need to Google them and start taking down some things that they have said. They probably said it as teenagers. So the comments they made on Facebook or somewhere. But because they are trying to position themselves for maybe Wikipedia publications, I need to now start taking down, we need to start contacting blogs. Do you understand? The comments you made on Insta blog, on Twitter, internet does not, somebody will screenshot it and show you in 20 years time when you are positioning yourself for governorship and to be a governor. They will show you. Do you get? So that's two. Three, and the most important thing is that never forget the God factor. Let's not be too woke and too civilized to throw away the things that have helped people in the past. God factor, the supernatural is still very real. The supernatural is still very real. He talked about prayer and fasting. He talked about God speaking to him on Third Mainland Bridge. There are some problems that can only be solved on your knees. People, CEOs and industry leaders will likely not come and tell you. But everybody has a secret place they visit. You're either a member of the secret cult or you have the secret place. Everybody has a spiritual backing, energy that they need to get their source from. So don't forget, if you cannot do devil, do God. Yeah, some people are doing, I'm sure there are some people in this room that are probably doing devil, right? Right? If you cannot do that, you cannot succeed, you cannot get to the, you cannot be sustained at the top without the help of the supernatural. Because guess what, your colleagues, your opponents, not everybody in your office likes you, I hope you know that. Your opponents, your colleagues, your rivals in your industry, do you know what they do every night? And you that you cannot carry sacrifice, what can you do? Pray. You pray. That's the sacrifice. Sacrifice your time. It's not every day you sleep. Don't sleep away your life and destiny. And wake up in the morning and you are wondering why you've not made money in 1 year. Check your spiritual life. The supernatural is still very valid. It's still very potent. The Bible says that it derives in our pleasure. So it is not God's agenda for you to be stagnant, to be confused, and to be poor. He wants you to become rich. When you are not rich already, what is the issue? Tackle it spiritually, tackle it in your mindset, your attitude, what knowledge, fix things that need to be fixed. And at the same time, go back to God and ask God, what next? What should I do? Some of us have stayed so long in a place because God has left that place, but you are still there. God has left that industry that you are, but you are still there because you don't even have hearing ears. The only ears you have is for gossip and what's trending and we impregnated women. So stay in the supernatural, work on yourself, improve, build capacity, and the sky's the limit.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so your question falls under intellectual property. Intellectual property is all around us. Just look around. From this fan to the table, to the chair, to your clothes, it's all around you. So it's easy for you to protect your tangible assets, which is the asset you can see, like your car. But you can't think of protecting your intangible assets. And this intangible asset is priceless. It's worth millions of money. So what do? The law has made provisions for that idea, that creation, that invention that you have is worth protecting so that you can have exclusive right. Without this exclusive right, you don't have ownership over it. Someone else can use it. So in terms of your branding, like we use this big Coca-Cola as an example, you see Coke. Coke is an example. You see the design of Coke. You can't go and imitate that design. So thinking about patent, before I can give a customized advice on patent, I want you to understand that is an invention that is novel, is highly new, is not already in existence. And once you have that invention, it must be in the hardware, not software. It must be in the hardware. The ministry that is in charge is the Ministry of Trade and Investment. So if you look at your product and it's software, maybe you have an app, you have a content which is worth protecting. then you think about copyright. Then if you have a brand name, which is logo, slogan, that's where trademark comes in. And this is very paramount because when we are talking about branding and strategizing, you need your foundation to be strong. You don't need to build a brand that someone else can easily impersonate. Competitors are waiting for you, they are looking at what you're doing. As soon as it looks like, oh, he knows what he's doing, they steal your idea. And by then you'll be running helter-skelter. So the law makes a lot of provisions on how to protect your sensitive information. We have the non-disclosure agreement, we have the trade secret. So I believe I've been able to answer your question.
I want to beg you that we should listen to her. I was a victim. When I came in the first quarter NYC online, I shared with my sister. She said she go and meet someone. I worked there in Y. The person was preparing computer for them in Y. And I shared the whole idea with him. I said, fantastic, can I bring the proposal? And he will submit the proposal for me. I did. And they took the proposal. Today I didn't see the proposal. But the one doing the job today. They built the tallest building around Saturday because of their language. I could not sue them because there was no copyright law. There was nothing I could do. Anytime I go through their place and I look at them, I look at they make billions every year now because of my idea. But what do we do? As much as possible, go through the normal process. Don't take things for granted. That's number one. Again, you talk about challenges. Every one of us have a lot of challenges. Thank God for his own. I was a conductor here in Lagos. First time to Oshodi to my 12. I do conductor. From there, I was still like a houseboy somewhere in LA. But today, I am houseboy. You see, everybody faces challenges. It all depends on what you see ahead of the whole thing. If you don't see the end, that's why have the end at the back of your mind. What is your vision? What do you want to accomplish in life? It depends on what you see. What you see will make you to run. Say run with the vision. But if there's no vision, you don't know where. If your want is just to be coming up to just come and do chicky, you'll get nothing. I want to beg of us, have something at the back of your mind. Have a vision. Have a clear vision that I want to make impact in my generation. Not just to make money. Make impact. Money will come. That is true. Number 3, we talk about where do I want what opportunity. When I was coming in 2 weeks ago, I was in Minnesota. And I was talking with a friend of mine. I said, I want to do certification in cybersecurity. I was just discussing with him. Said, the next thing I want to go to, now I see my boss. It's the truth. This is part of the connection to me. Again, I'm open to different kind of opportunity. There is no opportunity that is closed. Now let me share this little with you. I was into IT. I sent a proposal to the government for me to just do a project for them on pension management and on land management solution. I did the presentation, it was fantastic. They said, okay, let's go ahead and the implementation. During the time of presentation, they said the governor was interested in another person. They gave the job to someone else. I said, okay, what can I do? I told them, okay, now I'm going to this level, tell me what can I do? I can do anything. They said, well, there is no job here. That the only job available here is to do printing, mental printing. I said, I can do mental printing. They said, huh? Yes. They said, to come up with a sample. I came over to Shomolu. I gave them a sample. They saw my sample. My sample was fantastic. They gave me the job. I did the job. I delivered the first one, the first batch, second batch. I was one of the best. It was fantastic. When they saw it, they paid me my money. I made good money. It may not be much, but I made some money. When I was about to go, the person that introduced me, I went there to say thank you. And I said, sir, I am done with this job. I can do another job. Which other job is available? And they said, printing is not available again. The only job available is road construction. There are people that will be coming up, help people to work with erosion. I said, I can do it. They said, it's only people that have teeth. I said, I have teeth. They said, okay, by tomorrow, can you meet with an engineer? They call an engineer. And they gave me my number. I went to the engineer. The engineer showed me, said, oh, okay, it's a Chinese guy. He said, okay, can you do from here? Look at the sample. Oh yeah, where are your materials? I said, which material? We are not going to start with this. Where are your equipment? I've never been into construction before. I don't know how to do mold. I don't even know where to start from. That was the issue of integrity comes in, an issue of networking. That day I could not sleep. I was looking for all my friends that are into construction. At the end of the day, they recommended one brother for me. Sometimes it's dangerous. I got that brother, I called him, he sent me his quotation, Okay, I presented my presentation, we look at it. They told me maximum is 80,000 naira per square meter. Okay, I got another one that was cheap. I said this one will be 30,000 naira per square meter. Okay, I look at it, we make 5,000 naira per square meter. I told them it was time for us to go. I mobilized. I was to use my money to do the job. I mobilized this guy to site. The guy got to job, got to site. I got him an accommodation, I put him in an hotel, I did everything. He messed up. He messed up badly. He's supposed to be a brother. A big shot brother. By the time I was to get the first payment, the money I spent, I didn't even make half of that money. I thought I've lost money. But at the end of the day, they told me, look, it's like your engineer is not really in charge. I got somebody else to work for me. At the end of the whole day, we ended up making a lot of kilometers. We became one of the best in that site. I was not doing construction before. That was when I became big show in construction. At the end of the whole day, I told the guy that gave me the job to say thank you. From there, that was how God opened my eyes. Before I realized, after that, I got into house construction. I now build house and sell houses. Today, I now have a company into construction. If you don't have a street sense, then you are lost. You must be ready to pick anything as an entrepreneur. Have a magnet brain. And as I was going, we were making money, I was saving money in the bank. I look at it now that the banking is not making much profit. What do I do? Let's also think about how we can give a loan. If bank is giving loan, using my money to make profit, I can also be making money from my own money. That was how we entered the issue of credit. Now we are giving credit. And by the grace of God, our new app is coming up now. You know, we're looking at it, that's how we move to that. What am I saying? You must be ready, open to so many things. What am I waiting for? One idea. Any idea that is good, let's sit down together. I'm available. We can talk. You can be rest assured. My integrity is intact. Your business will be protected. As long as we work in partnership and we don't cheat one another, we have no place to fail. Thank you.
Another key factor, partnership matters most. Partnership.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to the convener for this wonderful program. So my question goes to Mr. Dr. Obade and Dr. Reggie. So my first question is, so I was going through your profile when you were projecting. I saw OND, that's 2000, right? So before that OND, you say you were doing work or something like that. So I want to know, in this Nigeria, let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. When you are, how did you generate the fund? Because most times it's funding for some people. How do you generate the fund to move into polytechnic, to start that career? And now look at the remaining one, after that polytechnic, then you see that those institutions are not one institutions. So how did you climb that ladder? How? Because the whole thing was like too fast. So how did you climb that ladder? That's the first question. Then the second one, I happen to be a software engineer. So as a software engineer, you have to have knowledge of some elements of cybersecurity for you to build a secure system. Not too long ago, let me say the second quarter of this year, I was migrating into cybersecurity. So I want your advice on that part. Then the third question, which I want both contribution from Dr. Frederick and you is that if, as you know, everyone, as I've been said earlier, they said that if you are doing 9 to 5 job and you have other things doing, you can do it. So I'm a software engineer. I wouldn't want to put my job, I wouldn't want to restrict my engineering aspect to maybe my official environment. So if you have an application, like this one, I was deploying one application, my friend told me that this application you are deploying now, you can actually set it up. You know that your mom job was a software from just what you can. So what's your advice in terms of you building an application and you now decide to set it up, even though the application is a high valued one? So what's your advice in that aspect?
Let me break it down. And okay, let's break it down. And this will help everybody. I finished secondary school 92. Between 92 to 90, before I could get to I've always, this is a public program, and it's always good so that people don't think that, why is this man, because Nigeria, religion has been bastardized, and I don't want to fall into that category, but the reality is, I got born again very early in life, at very early age. So I'm been privileged to work, communicating with the Holy Spirit and all of that, without really being religious. Now, so it was that was what inspires me to say, okay, number one, there was nothing I could do. I have to do houseboy. That was how I was able to sell on the bridge, to generate money, to do what? To go back to school. So yeah, that was what happened. And immediately, I did the OND. I was able to now know that, look, after the OND, I've told you the story of how from the OND now got into certification, system coupling, and but I know the question that you're trying to ask is, yes, how fast? Do you know what's called laser focus? I was so much laser focused about where I was going. Poverty no good, my brother. See, let me just tell you the truth. That's why sometimes when people talk about poverty, I think because of our sense of entitlement, we're so comfortable. I was so laser focused, which was why I gave you, when I make money, the first thing in my brain, because by year 2005, let me tell you, I was about to, sorry, along the line in the quest of my life, me too, I have prayed, God, give me money. That's why I'm always being careful talking about religion. I'm not talking religion, I'm talking about practical approach to life. One day, let me tell you what God told me to one day. I go to Winners, and I wrote long, plenty prayer requests in all of us. Faith, they have taught us faith. I want 50 million. I wrote big money. I don't get this. I cried. One of the gifts I have in life is the ability to retrieve. When everybody from my life, even as I live here today, I think. So I was thinking, and God told me, I said, Wale, you cannot blow anything. When God is talking to you like that, I can't blow. That, God is the secret of success. I said, that's like confusion. That, God, everybody knows God is the secret of success. And he said, calm down. That G-O-D. That, do you know the first G of God is giving? I said, of course, now we know give. Because my idea was, give, he shall be given unto you. Then, no, God, calm down. This giving is what? You have to give value to the world. That's why all those people that even that they are not born again, all those people in China, they are giving value to the world. Somebody manufactured this fan. If you're a software, do you know Bill Gates? He was a software developer like you, but his ability to think through that, to say, what problem am I solving? And then he built the Windows. Now, why do you have to give something? But God, now, let me tell you the shocker. Now, this is where the problem is. To answer, that there is nobody in this world that does not have anything to give. The only problem is either you are proud and what she said, or lazy. So, for me, sometimes in fulfilling our long-time dream, what I can give at that time as value is what? Houseboy, selling on the bridge. But in the circle, operational goal, it was only putting food on my table. Some people are still doing, he was doing conductor, and guess what? I did conductor too, from Vesta to Oshun. See, let me be honest with you. When you see, that's why today, when you are telling people, and people are saying, you think your problem is too much, it's a lie. People have gone through stuff. I'm not trying to make, but because of that, it is, what can you give now? But don't lose focus if what you can give now is that. But guess what? As I was making money, because I know that when you have something to give, do you know what will happen to you? The whole part of God's name is opportunity. Opportunity will come. And guess what? When you maximize that opportunity, just like he explained too, I don't know him, I'm meeting him for the first time, it's the same principle. Part of God's name is, have something to give to the world, because this world is a marketplace. Then, if you have something to give, Opportunity will provide itself if you use that opportunity very well. But he says something very important. There is what is called performance currency and relationship currency. Performance currency is doing the job very well. When I was doing houseboy, I was the best houseboy in town. Let me just tell you the truth. You know, I'm not joking. I was the best houseboy. In fact, my organ was when I wash plate for you, see, if I wash plate, in fact, the bomb of the children of my organ, you know, in fact, see, let me not lie to you. I was the best. When I was doing houseboy too, I was the best. When I was selling on the bridge, I was the best. But I was focused. But then, when I knew that time was over, opportunity, maximize that opportunity, but guess what? The deep part of God's name is development. And that was why you saw what you are seeing today. As I was now making those money, don't forget on the bridge, there were a lot of sikira on the bridge. There were a lot of bilikisu on the bridge. You know, I was selling Maggie. They will see money to make you lose your focus. Those of people, when they see women, they are going to negotiate. But I was very focused. Instead of spending my money on the women, you know, I was spending it. I would take the one that I used to eat. You understand? And I know that for what? Development. Deep part of God's name. To develop myself. You understand? So that's it. So I keep developing myself. And then let me know, like, don't be intimidated. And to be honest with you, it's intimidating. I'll spend about 500 million. If you put it in context for you, yes. But guess what? My first certification, do you know how much was it? It was 19,000 in the year 2001. That was how much I could afford. That my first exam was Microsoft Certified Professional. I did that one. Don't forget, I was able to, instead of now, houseboy I could give. That means the day of houseboy has gone. The day of selling on the bridge has gone. What can I give now? My knowledge. Microsoft, and as I was giving it, opportunity comes, then I did CCNA. CCNA that time was how much? It was 21,000 thereabout. I did CCNA, I did CCNP. As I was doing it, opportunities were coming. As those opportunities were coming, don't forget G-O-D, God. I have something more to give to the world. Opportunities is coming. I keep developing myself, which is building capacity. And like that, I finish all the Cisco exam, CCNP, CCND, all the Cisco, except, you know, I was about to write CCIE, and then all the pro, you know, and before I know what was happening, 2014. And as I was doing it, let me be honest, that's why it's difficult to explain. So it's difficult. In fact, as of all these things I'm telling you, as of 2014, I've done all the professional certification. My first time, I still have OND, and I went to Harvard. In fact, that money I took to Harvard, I cannot tell you now. Some people will use that money and go and buy land. Let me not lie to you. So that's why some people in Mowe, and I want to be careful. In Mowe, and that's the challenge, you know, because there's so much confusion in Mowe. When I went, everybody, my wife was crying that, okay, we don't have anything. I said, you want to hear the truth. This investment in knowledge. So now people talk about land banking, but I call it knowledge banking. So I spent that money, I went to Harvard, I want to hear the truth. I don't have the full picture. And that's where the God factor is. I came back, but guess what? As I was coming back, as I came back to Nigeria, 3 weeks thereabout, that I got to Nigeria, that was when Ebola struck. Ebola struck, there was a facilitation that was supposed to happen with the bank, and then they were looking for who facilitated. All the white guys didn't want to come to Nigeria. I already have certification. But guess what? That course that I did, I added it. The bank said, I will be able to teach their board of directors. From that, I made over 100 million. If I have used that money, so you see, that's how, now it's land banking. So that's why youth of today, some of you rather go and buy iPhone. There's nothing wrong with iPhone. But the now 1 million you have used to spend iPhone can buy you so many, you know, it is delayed gratification. And there's no time. This man's already looking at me. Let me now shock you. So that's why you have to get your priority right. And I'm facing you, if you are the only one that can take this thing, you know, you have to get your priorities right. Do you know a car called MPV, Mazda? MPV. Do you know the car? In 2001, it was the car that I bought. I couldn't even want to, what am I saying 2001? 2011. I couldn't even, in fact, that time, Sienna, the Sienna 1999 model, I couldn't even afford it. I used that MPV for 10 years. And in that 10 years, as I was driving that MPV, I was making money. that I can use to buy Prado, to buy PP cars. In fact, one of my friends one day, he came to check my car. We're at City Mall. Look at the car. To touch the car like this, he's a foolish boy. Because that time I was driving a Range Rover. You understand? Of course, was I paying? I was paying. Because when I looked at it, one certificate that I had, you will buy all this car. When he was abusing me. But guess what? Today, I drive a G-Class today. I live in Ikoyi. I have properties everywhere. You want me to, in good places. Not Mowe. So, yes, I live in Ikoyi in hundreds of millions of naira. But guess what? But the problem with the youth is, if the this man drive a G-Class, I have driven an MPV for 10 years. They were mocking, they were mockery, people mock me, people say a lot of things. I was making money, but I was pumping that money to where? Because God has told me, G is what? You must give value to the world, opportunities will come, you keep developing yourself, and it's a circle. And before you know what's happening, there are people who will look at you, you become a surprise to yourself. And that's why today, it is like a surprise to everybody. And guess what? I have now made money. I can now say, oh my soul, let me be resting and then be enjoying. But we want to hear the truth. To be honest, I'm not 50 yet. I can be behaving anywhere. Let me just tell you, I can afford. But I looked at it. The next course I want to do, if I tell you the price, honestly, if we tell you the next course I want to do, because now I'm now looking at, okay, Wale, okay, you have done this, you have done that. You're still using the same principle. I want to do business with United Nations. I want to do business with World Bank. Okay, now I've gone to all the, okay, why? I want to do a master's from a reputable university again, which is Oxford. I'm doing a fresh master's. Do I have the full picture? Not yet. But guess what? Knowledge banking. I might be in that class and they are syndicating project of $1 billion. But because you are there, and then all of a sudden, somebody will say, wow, it gives you the ability to be at the right place at the right time. But that money too, you can misbehave and be carrying side chick. It's your choice. Nobody is forcing anybody. But the challenge I have in life is, everybody wants to do the right thing. And there are different things when you are stealing money. Corruption. No, that's not what we're saying. If you want to make good money, it is hard work. So don't let the politicians deceive you. Yeah, don't let it say because not everybody. If you want to make right money, it comes with a lot of what? Discipline, and then being laser focused. And if you follow that principle, give value, opportunity comes, and keep developing yourself.
This station is for all of you. Knowledge man, well done. But there's one thing that you don't know is like all the certificates. We never saw that show by yourself with the co-planners. Thank you. And I have a question for all of you. You guys have a good idea. You guys come from the low background before, like conductor. Now, in this term of consistency, what is your next step to take that idea to the low places? What is your next step to take that idea to the low places? Because, yeah.
If I get your question correctly, you said that now we've talked about consistency. What do we contribute back to the society in a way of giving back to the society? Is that correct?
The society itself is divided by three steps. The society is divided. I'm talking about the low privilege. That means
the less privileged people.
Yeah, because they need that identity.
Okay, they need this knowledge as well.
Exactly.
For me, I will encourage you to create awareness. How I'm going to do that is that I sponsored this program last year. And I sponsored it this year in my own capacity. So that's way of giving back. There is something we call corporate social responsibility and sharing, creating awareness and sharing knowledge. I share knowledge freely, like I'm doing here, and I believe that if you go back and discuss what you learned here to the people in your community, I'm sure they'll pick something and their life will become better. So I want all of us here to give yourself a round of applause. It right thing. You're at the right place, and you're taking the right step, which is gaining the knowledge. So, like we said, it's a journey, and I encourage you, don't give up. Keep dreaming big, keep aspiring, keep putting in the work, and any opportunity you have to deliver products, to deliver services, do it excellently well. Don't make mistakes. Thank you.
For me, I have a foundation. I call it Six Spring Foundation. Sip Spring. And when I'm going to start from that name, in Lagos here, if it's rain, there's something you discover. After a few minutes or a few hours, the rain could be so heavy that we even carry car on the road, right? But after an hour or two, what happened? After an hour or two, what really happened? No place to dry up. It feels like there is nothing. But I had an experience of going to Ikogu Sekiti. Ikogu Sekiti, if you have been there before, the water has been steeping. It doesn't make much noise, it's just coming, it has been there. I went there first when I was in secondary school, some years ago. Today, it's still doing that same thing. And I came up with this idea, sip, that's where consistency comes in. It's a sip. Keep going home, sip, 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 sip. I don't make big money. I make small money, I call it kulu. There's an herb I'm coming up with now called kulu herb. From kulu, 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 kulu. If you ever go to where there's a spring, the water will just be coming out. It doesn't make noise. But if you go there with a drum, you will still get water, and the water will still be there. You go there with a cup, you will still make water. If you go there with a truck, you'll be able to still get water, yet the water will be consistent. Now, I came up with that company, Sip Spring. Just from little, you become great. Now, Sip Spring, what do? We take care of the people, the less privileged people. We train them, how can they move from the new level to the bigger level. Well, everyone else, we feed them. We reach out to the widows, to the fatherless, to the motherless, so many things. We sponsor some people in schools. We pay school fees of several people. As much as possible, we impact life. And that's what we try to do. But ultimately, what am I doing? What am I saying today? Get something that you can do to make impact in your life. You cannot give what you don't have. Yes. If you are talking about consistency, you are talking about impacting generation. If your life is not impacted positively, there is nothing you can give. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, I'll just repeat what I've said. Honestly speaking, especially because all of us, and I'll just repeat the concept of knowledge banking, that don't let anybody pressurize you, which is why I spoke about the cash box, knowledge, attitude, and skills, and then habits. Because for the purpose of emphasis, knowledge, right knowledge can change your life. You understand? Sit down with whatever you're doing right now. Look for people that have done it before. Do you understand? Read biographies in that area. Study those people. Believe me sincerely, 10 years look like a long time, but guess what? You will shock yourself what your life can turn to within 5 years, within 10 years. Life is a marathon. Don't be like, people want immediate results. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Yeah, there will be things, there will be quick wins. But the biggest thing that will happen to you happens in long time. For every successful people. So yeah, because if you are always thinking now, when there is a little challenge, you will easily be discouraged. You understand? But when you know that life is a marathon, you will not give up on your dream. And then finally, just keep developing yourself. And as you are developing it, develop the right knowledge. Do you understand? Because it's dangerous, like I said from the beginning. You can be developing in a wrong way. But when you develop in the right way, which is knowledge banking, learn to commercialize it. Learn to make money from it. You understand? So I believe that with that, you will end up being a superstar. Thank you.
To your question, I run an organization called GC Africa. Jesus Africa, our target audience is Generation Z. A lot of Generation Zs are. So I just try to think about who I was when I was younger, the challenges I was facing, my issues, and we try to fix it. So, but right now it's sort of on the pause because I'm trying to create a structure and my work is taking so much of my time. But it's what I do. GZ Africa, you can check us on Instagram, and we offer trainings, free trainings to people that are Gen Zs. We also have coaches. I have a team of coaches, and if you've ever been molested, if sexual molestation, a lot of issues that people go through, but they don't want to talk to anybody about it. So that's what we handle at GZ Africa. So my last word is you are light, and if you don't shine, darkness will continue to thrive. And your gifts, your skills, your message, your strengths are reflections of your light. So I am begging you, I'm appealing to everybody listening to me right now, shine, so that when darkness seems to be thriving, you have mouths to complain. Just like if you complain about Nigeria but you did not vote, you don't have any rights to complain. You enjoy what you did not vote for. So please shine, let your light shine. The Bible talks about our light shining so that men will glorify our God. So ensure that your personal brand is a light, is a solution to a global problem, because we have the globe at our feet. Thank you.
Yeah, so giving back is actually the reason why I'm here today, to be honest with you. So for the organizer of this program, I don't know them, they reached out to me. Saturday is a day I don't normally go out. Let me not lie to you, I charge $50,000 per hour. Woo! Yes, if you want to hear. So, and then I've been here for how many hours? Yes. So, yeah, you can hear, yes, I charge $50,000 per hour if I want to go on a project personally. So, but we have to give back, because truly, like he said, if you're a light, there is no harm in, because I don't know who will be in this audience that will take what we're saying, all of us that are said today, you understand, and we take it and we change, and become even bigger than every one of us on this panel, which is actually why. And of course, I do a lot of free things. Go for evangelism, preach to people in different places, and all of those things, because that's actually the essence of life. But the danger is this, like she said, become a light too, so that all of us, nothing great is ever done in isolation. I know, because I know the reason why you're asking that question, because too, if you two become successful today, then everybody like that. That's how it is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We started this auditorium with a full house, and it takes a lot. Those who are determined to wait to get all of these things. Earlier on, while I was making some comments, I said, if you really want to see these people, you need to see them. I took an instance, say a lawyer, you pay per hour, per section, you can imagine $50,000. Even $1,000, I'm going to check into that. Do you understand? So it's not just about giving back, it's about something I'm sure they derive passion for, to do all of this, is imparting. So it's something that the message which is taken from here, we should, in our own capacity, let's go to and be able to make impact. So with that, thank you very much. There's going to be a closing remark. After a closing remark, we'll have a photo section, and so I'm going to invite the convener of the program, Mr. Kish.
Sorry, please, just 5 minutes so that we'll just take a few pictures, please, sir. Good evening, everyone. Hi, good evening, everyone. So it seems we're tired. So we are done already. But before I give the closing remark, please, can I have the attention of the house, please? Please, can I have everyone's attention, please? Okay, please, how many of you would like to have an interaction with any of our speakers today? Okay, that is good. So there's this community that we are trying to work on, which we've started already on WhatsApp. I don't know if the host has done justice to that earlier on, which he passed a form where you just drop a WhatsApp number. So if not, Oye, can you please help me to pass it so that people will drop in their numbers and email. So what we'll do is we'll add you to a WhatsApp group that will give you updates and give you information on what we want to do next. And also, basically, it's just an entrepreneurial community whereby we share everything that has to do with entrepreneurial. It's not a platform for jokes or anything, I promise you. And I can assure you that your data is safe 100%. Thank you very much for that. And to the closing remark, I just first of all want to say a big thank you to God. I'm a big lover of God. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. I love Jesus and I love God. Secondly, I want to thank God for friends and family and also my team who believe in me concerning this program. These are fourth year. There are times I feel like I'm tired, I'm not doing it, and I feel like you can't give up, it's too late for me to give up. And I feel like, okay, let's do it. And also to all our sponsors who came on board to say very big thank you. And big shout outs to Bibi Kola. Thank you very much, Bibi Kola. Thank you to Agatha Liga. Thank you to all the photos. Everybody who say thank you very much. Thank you very much. And to all our speakers, we want to thank you. And let me say something. You guys know that Mr. Fell actually flew from America because of the summit. So let me say, he actually came from. You know how much tickets is. I think last week when I spoke with him, he was in America, and I was like, this man come. So that was my fear that he won't come. He won't come. And thank you very much, sir, for honoring God in me. I won't say honoring me, but thank you for honoring God. Thank you very much, Dr. Badai. Thank you very much. Precious gift. Thank you very much, Miss Agatha. And also, let me tell you guys, Miss Agatha agreed to register our should I use the word company or organization future service for free. Foundation, future service. NGO, whatever. NGO. So she agreed to do that. It's about 200,000, and she agreed to do that for us. Thank you very much, man. We really appreciate it. And back to back sponsor. It's not easy. It's not easy for someone to give you 5,000 naira in this region. It's not easy. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And to every one of you, I say a very big thank you for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless you. And I hope to see you guys next year. Next year, fresh ideas. We do this again.
Fresh starts.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, next year is fresh starts. Thank you. Sorry, next year is fresh start, and we hope to see you guys next year. Thank you very much. Before then, we'll keep in touch on WhatsApp. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a lovely night. So let's take a picture outside. So, should we take you outside? Outside, so let's take. Okay. Sorry, can you replay that? Sorry, can you replay it? Alright, so let's stand and So let's take the group picture here and outside. Please, kindly take a picture and tag us on Instagram, please. Thank you. Please.
Sorry.
Sorry. What is it? It's all that place. This is just your place. This is not it.